Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Like, share, and subscribe without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Virgo. Virgo, let's see what energy is coming up for you today. I'd like to get one card from this deck, and we'll pull from the Energy Oracle. If we don't get one jumper, we'll... Ooh, no. Okay. What was it? It looks like the Sphinx. Uriel and the Sphinx. And that's going to be your overall energy for this one. Let's pull from the Energy Oracle. Let's see what's going on for Virgo. I'm gonna have to read that card again. I don't remember what it's about. Okay. All right then. Okay. That was new. What do we have? Got two of them on the floor. Oh, wow. Okay. And, yeah. Taurus got this. Cornucopia. What else do we have? Okay. Well. So. Let's put Uriel and the Sphinx back for right now. We will read this one. So we have that. We have the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. Interestingly enough, we got Uriel showing up twice here, this reading. We have woman holding a coin. We'll figure out where she plays in. So we have cornucopia, which is wishes fulfilled. And healer of the ages, usually light workers. The funny thing was, with Taurus, deceit wasn't on the table, but deceit was on the table. You actually have deceit on the table. Well, let's see what Alice has to say about that. I'm not quite sure where the woman holding a coin is here. So we have the crown chakra on the table. See. Oh, it's new. Wow. All right. Let's get one more. What did we have to pull? Okay. So, shine bright like a candle was the first thing that stood out to me because we have this Lightworker card on the table, but we also just have a lot of light on the table. Cornucopia's got this kind of like ray of sun kind of coming through, and then over here she just looks all lit up too with this crown chakra here. So we have shine bright like a candle, and then change the night was the next one I saw, which is usually like changed overnight. And becoming braver. So resilience, experience, and fresh perspective, growing stronger. All right, we're going to read that. We're going to pull 3 moons, and then we're going to read that Uriel and the Sphinx and see what's going on here. But if this reading ends up resonating with you, especially if you didn't know you were a light worker, you can always, you know, talk to the Archangel Uriel. See if we can get one more moon. I'll go through it one more time and then I'm just going to pull it. Nothing wants to jump. Cards are acting a little weird anyway, so we'll just pull. We'll pull from the bottom. All right. Kind of sometimes curious of what came out on its own and what we had to pull. So we have, all right, so full moon in Pisces. We have forgive. We have full moon in Aquarius, be real. And we have last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. All right. Let's see a process here. Still curious about this woman holding a coin, and let's find out about Uriel and the Sphinx. What card is that? So Major Arcana, card number 21. All right, so what is the Akashic force behind this reading? Oh my God, Uriel and the Sphinx. Okay. The Archangel Uriel stands before the Sphinx under a full moon. The Sphinx is usually shown with the body of a lion, indicating strength, and the head of a king, showing authority and intelligence. But more than this, the Sphinx represents the enigmatic and inscrutable, the silent holder of truth and the ancient mysteries of the world. Here, the Archangel Uriel connects and confers with this great source of mystery. This card shows that it's time for you to do the most important and possibly the most difficult work in your life, the digging and inner discovery that takes you to your deepest self and your deepest power. Even the great Sphinx had to be dug out many times from the blowing desert sands that buried it up to its neck, and you must dig diligently too. You may have to chip away at the rock-like substance of your old beliefs and histories so that you can get to the truth inside, but don't worry, you have begun already and you've made considerable inroads. There's also someone here to help you, Uriel, whose name means fire of God. You can work directly in your meditations with this archangel for self-understanding, transformation, and guidance. Also be on the lookout for someone in your daily life whom Uriel has sent. This could be a teacher, a mentor, or even a new friend who shares a kinship with you about this inner quest. It is a relationship of great value that comes at a time of profound power. Don't diminish the importance of this phase. It is this work that leads you to your initiation into your highest power. Okay, so let me just say that if you resonate with the word Lightworker, or if you already knew you were a Lightworker, this is you. This process that it's talking about, like it's almost kind of like an initiation in a way, like you have these steps here, right? Seventh chakra, like, so the crown chakra, yes. I mean, a lot of times we say, like, when we're dealing with light and stuff like that, a lot of times it will come through our crown. So yeah, I could see this card being here. Also for the purposes of mentioning that chakra in this reading, sure. But the other thing that's coming to me is again, Uriel's on the table twice. So that's very significant to me as far as both of these cards, which archangel it is and which chakra that is. So, the woman holding the coin is just telling me that it's a possibility that you need to do a little bit of work about your idea of money. A lot of times, the reason why we don't have like the things that we want, like the financial things that we want, it's a lot of times because we're blocking. We have an idea that money's hard to get, money's hard to keep, whatever that idea is what keeps us. It might even be subconscious. I think that's why she's here. She's kind of like, sometimes it's funny about the way they're holding it. Like sometimes they really just look like they're presenting it, and then sometimes they just look like they're showing it. For this particular reading, she just looks like she's showing it. Like, coins exist here. I think it's telling you that you need to do a little bit of work there. I think that whatever you've been through or whatever you've gone through, I mean, it's a good possibility that it was this seed, or maybe it was, or maybe it still is. And it could be other things too. It doesn't have to be deceit. is making it harder for you to shine. And we know we always talk about that. We always talk about like shining, and don't let them take away your light and stuff like that. But sometimes it really takes us a while to realize what that actually means, like what the light is that we have, and like what it looks like when they're trying to take it away, or whatever we're talking about. I mean, most of the time it's whoever brought this deceit. We a lot of times, especially as like light workers, empaths, you could be both, we bring this quality, we just bring it. We don't realize that not everybody's bringing it. We don't, we just see everybody the same. We don't see, where we give more, just things like that. But other people do. And it does, it kind of makes us stand out, to the point where we have to like almost overcome to be around certain people, or to be around people, or to protect ourselves so that we don't have to deal with people who just want to take from us, kind of thing. Again, it could be something simple as somebody taking away your energy to the point where you can't shine like you normally would, right? It doesn't seem like a big deal until it's always happening, or it keeps happening, or you're like, today I'm not going to lose my energy, and then you do, and you've just had it. You're like, what is going on? Becoming braver, learning what the difference is in whatever boundary it is you're trying to set. It doesn't have to be about energy. It doesn't have to be, chances are you have something that you're trying to do just for you in general, but especially if you've kind of like embraced this light worker side of you, then there's things that you probably want to do, that you want to learn how to do, that takes you a lot further away from where you were yesterday, or where you were before you even started this journey, kind of thing, to the point where some of the old beliefs are still in place, so that you can get away from that, so that you can kind of go towards, the wishes fulfilled, to being your full self, to the point where you don't have to deal with this deceit anymore, right? So these are in order by like, this is like ending this. If it's you healing, then that's what it's coming to. If it's the situation, because deceit is still on the table. So someone could be like still in this. This is ending to the point where you need to kind of clear your mind, and you need to just to be yourself. Just be whoever it was you were trying to be in this, or, that kind of thing. Because with this deceit on the table, sometimes, when people are a certain way, we're not allowed to be truly like ourselves for whatever reason. I mean, I could name like 10 different scenarios where that could exist, to the point where now you have to, when you go back, like when it's ending, or the end has happened, you kind of have to go back and figure out like who you are in that. I mean, some people know the whole time, but again, when there's something that you thought was true, that you found out wasn't true, or something that you thought that you found out wasn't, a lot of times we end up reevaluating a lot of stuff. We kind of go back and we look at it and we say, where else were we fooled? And a lot of times too, it takes courage to do that as well. So it's one of those things where, again, it's like the card said, like, it's going to be a little bit of work. Literally talked about like digging sand, but the rewards are better. I mean, in any way, you're not actually digging sand. You're not freeing the Sphinx. You're freeing yourself. I mean, that's so much more worth it than just, digging out a statue that's going to get built, with sand again. I mean, I know it's not just a statue and people aren't just digging it out. But, like I said, if it really was like that was your job, okay, for the next 20 years, you're going to dig this thing out. The sand's going to keep trying to reclaim it because it's the desert, but this is your job, keep digging it out. Wouldn't it be more worth it to like dig it out for you one time? And then you wouldn't have to go back, and you wouldn't even have to go back and like deal with this again, to the point where you have to go dig it out again, because when you dig it out and you fix it, you'll know how to deal with this already. It won't be digging out sand all the time. It'll be you do it one time and you learn for it to not fill up with sand again. That's the beauty of doing work on yourself. So it's telling you to clear your mind, be real, and then, of course, forgiveness. We always want to forgive. You don't have to tell someone, I forgive you, but you always want to forgive them. You want to forgive you. A lot of times we don't realize that we're hanging on to stuff in these situations that we need to forgive ourselves for, especially if the other person like brought this. This is really easy to focus on. We don't necessarily look at ourselves and see where we, the only time we do that is when we fancy blaming ourselves too, right? Like, just being mad at everybody, or just being mad at the situation that you can't control, and then so therefore being mad at everyone, right? That would be you doing this to yourself, because things end. It happens all the time. Things end for different reasons. It happens for different reasons. Sometimes it happens so that you can go through this, so that you can finish this process. You might have bumped into somebody while you're, on your way, and then they brought deceit, which kind of took you away from where you were going, and the thing ended. It's very possible that it was that simple. And so a lot of times too, like I said, when we're coming out of it and we're reevaluating, I see all these little things, it's not just becoming braver at looking at ourselves. It's just becoming braver in general. Maybe the idea is that we don't, we haven't ever lived by ourselves, or, there's something that we didn't learn how to do that the other person always did for us. And now we have to figure this out, Sometimes we just know we don't want to go back there, and we'll just figure it out. Like, we've already figured it out. We just know we don't want to go back there. Like, whatever we need to do to change to the point where we don't have to become braver about anything. Sometimes we just do that. We skip a whole step. We just make it look easy, right? It's possible. Depends on how you want to look at the situation, right? Depends on how clear your mind is, right? How upset you want to get about the deceit. However long it was, how much you want to forgive someone so that you can move in the direction that you want to. If you want your money to be good, if you want your well-being, yourself to be good, you want your wishes fulfilled, you want to live out to your full potential, then much easier to walk away from the deceit, lies, what people bring that aren't conducive to this, because it doesn't have to be terrible. We always look at deceit as like the terrible card, but even the envy has no place. Like we always say, in situations in a relationship setting, sometimes the easiest thing to do is to look at what belongs and what doesn't belong. If someone's bringing something that doesn't belong, why doesn't it belong? Is it hostile? I looked for hostilities, but Taurus had that. You have deceit. So they had hostilities and then deceit, but deceit wasn't on the table. Talk about, get screwed. So, anyway, back to the reading. If someone's bringing something, then you are free to be whoever you want to be at any time. You don't have to wait for things to end to do that. You don't have to wait to clear your mind and to be real in a situation. You don't have to. You might have, if you're in the middle of something, you might need to become braver to change things. But, if you already shine bright like a candle, there's nothing to change. You could just be that. You could just change when you change. Honestly, like I said, a lot of times when we're in these situations, we're in it for a totally different reason than the people that bring this or the people that allow this. Very rarely is it the person's on the page with you, but they just, accidentally. It's possible, if the person was like disempowered empath and they just let whatever in, and you were an empath, but you weren't necessarily disempowered, and you're looking at this other person like, why do you keep, it's possible. But like I said, you would think in a situation like that you would be able to have them evolve with you, right? Like you guys are on the same path, you're going the same direction, you're doing the same thing, right? Both shining, right? That person's not necessarily bringing this. People are bringing this. It's pretty fair game, to end it whenever, however you want to end it. Obviously, I always say be reasonable. Obviously, here it requires a little bit of strength and support. It's not even just about the strength and the bravery. It's about like who's behind you. What help do we have coming? You know, what our blind spot is. We are, I think, ready to pull the blind spot, Virgo. And let's see what's see if we can get any more on that deceit. And it's funny that hostilities came up, but I mean, the words are interchangeable. If you're in something that you don't want to be in, you know, you could take out any word and put in any word. A lot of times when people are trying to describe stuff, it's the little, you know, intricacies that usually make the story, make people more upset, whatever the situation is. But, you know, again, I think you're at a point where you kind of realize that focusing on this, talking about this, isn't really going to help you a whole lot. This is the inside stuff. This stuff you're working towards, nobody can really help you with. I mean, sure, somebody can be supportive and all that stuff. You don't necessarily need Archangel Uriel to support you. But the work is still on your part, still needs to be done. Forgiving sometimes can be harder than it sounds. That's just one thing that's on the table. Let's pull a blind spot. Virgo, if this is your story, meet us over at the extended. If not, till we meet again.